This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening. I'm Sabrina Brown. Welcome to our post-hurricane coverage. Thank you for joining us. The nation's leader, the Right Honorable Christie, says some attention must now be given to the building code in the country, particularly on the coastline. This coming in light of the recent devastation caused by Hurricane Matthew. The nation's leader was touring West End, a community on the waterfront, and saw firsthand the destruction of homes left in the wake of Hurricane Matthew.
Now the question is, how long do we continue, either through our building codes or through where people build? How long do we have this continue? Because we have somehow to be able to convince our people that if you're going to live on the seashore, you have to build in a certain way. And even when you build in a certain way, you are likely to be impacted significantly by the forces of nature.
The nation's leader says the time has come for Bahamians to pay closer attention to the ongoing debate on climate change.
And we have therefore to pay attention to what is happening in the world with respect to this claim that as a result of neglect and emissions into the atmosphere, that we have changed the balance that exists for us as we visit communities that are impacted by hurricanes, and we're hearing people who are 50, 60, 70, 80, even 90 years old said they have never seen it like this. This is something new even to them. And so when we hear the President of the United States of America say the hottest summer in living memory has happened, more forest fires, more changes in the weather, more impact, more hurricanes, we have to pay attention to it. And clearly the government of the Bahamas must now set a budgetary allocation for hurricane preparedness, where every year we are able to look back and say, we did this on this particular island based on our experience with that island to better protect the island.
The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, holding a press conference late yesterday to discuss current restoration efforts. Megan Shepard was there.
As residents attempt to regain a sense of normality, countless agencies are on the ground working tirelessly to bring about relief. Government, non-profit organizations, and international partners all meeting and assessing the scope of damage to the island and charting the way forward to rebuilding. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, says that the island has been divided into 4 districts to assess and to tackle the damage. This Tuesday, cleanup began in the west.
We have put civil heavy equipment crews that will be in full force tomorrow to clean up, to remove all of the debris from the roads, as well as all of the internal garbage and waste and debris that was from the personal residence, to ensure that we clean up the areas to prevent infectious diseases. And so, like what is happening in Freeport with the quick cleanup, the government is moving swiftly to ensure that the outskirts of Grand Bahama receive the same attention as the city of Freeport, so that we can create the normalcy and so commerce can begin, our schools can begin to open, and we can begin to allow things to start to come back together.
Now, as information continues circulating online, the minister is once again clearing up some rumors.
Private businesses and individuals have reached out to the government to seek to give support and to bring reliefs into the community. And there's a rumor that's going on social media that the Ministry for Grand Bahama access of large quantities of generators. This is categorically and unequivocally false, but I must admit that international agencies have been reaching out to the government through NEMA to lend assistance in our community.
Officer in charge of the Ministry of Works, Toni Hudson Bannister, says the department has completed its initial post-damage assessment over the weekend. She says they are the support and technical agency for all government buildings and have discovered some damages.
The West End Primary, the Bartlett Hill Primary, Lewis Yard, and the Jack Haywood would have appeared to have sustained the most damage, and so they would be the ones first on our initial list for the follow-up visits, door-to-door assessments that will come. We will be covering residential, but more importantly, we have to make sure that from the government standpoint, all of the relevant agencies are in a position to be functional.
Bannister is also requesting assistance from other companies.
The only challenges we have at this time would, of course, be transportation. We are seeking assistance from the other government agencies, those who have trucks or large vehicles, for the transport of tarp and wood and those likes, and so that we can also help NEMA. We've continued to be that support to her, and so for the most part we really need those agencies with those vehicles to assist us. We will do the labor, we just need the vehicle so that we can assist as best we can.
The group will meet again this week to report on further progress. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Relief supplies are coming to Grand Bahama in the wake of Hurricane Matthew. Yesterday, a cargo aircraft loaded with relief supplies arrived on island, courtesy of the Good Samaritan Purse. Italia Hall has the details.
They are a group of Good Samaritans working to bring relief to residents on Grand Bahama. On Monday afternoon, a plane owned by Samaritan's Purse, a Christian organization, landed on Grand Bahama out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Regional Manager for the Caribbean, Central and North America, Raoul Armbrister, says the organization is there to help those who are in need throughout the community, and they expect to help over 2,000 residents.
We look to help in the Caribbean because Matthew was just beyond belief. Hurricane Matthew was one of those historical hurricanes that will never be forgotten. So it's our heart to bring some relief to the people of the Bahamas, and we want to start here with Grand Bahama.
There were a total of 38 pallets on the plane.
What is on board the DC-8 is tarps, because we know there were so many roofs that were damaged. There's also plastic for covering furniture and things, because there's many items that the roof just can't protect. In addition to hygiene kits, toothpaste and blankets, and things like that, things that are of immediate needs.
Armbrister says they have created a distribution network.
My wife, Reverend Karen Armbrister, along with Peaches Newbold, Lolita Montpetit, we have help from the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Mr. Preston Cunningham from NEMA. We've all put our minds, our hearts together, and we put together a list of individuals. We want to find those individuals with the greatest need and start with them. So we're working the entire island looking for the greatest need, and they will be contacted by phone, or also the Port Authority has agreed to use their vehicles to take items to individuals that need them.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Italia. The Ministry of Finance wishes to advise of the following procedures for the clearance of relief supplies. The clearance of all relief supplies should be accompanied by a C-13 home consumption form. In addition, all goods should be properly manifested. Supplies assigned to NEMA would be granted duty and VAT-free privilege. In addition, no processing fee would be assessed for those goods. Emergency supplies such as water, tarp, generators, personal and building supplies not assigned to NEMA or a recognized charity would be released upon confirmation from NEMA. Any abuser of these procedures would be subject to the penalties under the Customs Management Act. The Ministry of Finance would provide updated and comprehensive guidelines upon the release of the exigency order. For further information about these procedures, you can contact Bahamas Customs at 377-7027 or 377-7030. As cleanup efforts continue, many residents are reflecting on the traumatic experience during Hurricane Matthew. The people of the Southern District are no strangers to powerful storms, but they say Matthew was like none they have ever seen. Hurricane Matthew battered the communities in the Southern District, and the trail of damage left behind is heart-wrenching. Ruth Russell lives in Lewis Yard, and although she evacuated prior to the storm, upon returning, she discovered that most of her roof was gone and her home was badly damaged.
My home, I understand, this was knocked down before I came. Break up. This is a worst storm we see.
Ruth's son Benedict Russell chose to ride out the storm at home, but later found out that was not a good idea.
I never experienced in my life. Words can't describe it. Trust me. It's crazy. When this roof going out, I was ready to stand up. I'm up in the water, was coming under the door. Oh, one piece of breeze blew. When I look up, all I see was the clouds.
Benedict says miraculously he was able to make good his escape in the midst of the Category 4 hurricane.
For some strange reason, the breeze settled down. Just for a minute for me to get to my car to drive over here. And that's how I was able to evacuate during the storm.
Samuel Oliver also lives in that coastal community and tells of his horrific experience during the passage of the monster storm.
This one here come in, that's what it wasn't planned. From this bus down, this come from 140 miles per hour to 155 miles per hour, ripping and tearing all of my roof and everything, tear it off.
But through it all, Ruth Russell is a living testimony that Bahamians are a resilient people.
There's nothing I could do. I said, thank God for Jesus, I'm alive.
Stay with us. The Northern Edition continues right after this.